Good morning, everyone. This is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and we are here with day 126 of Coffee and MTG, the morning talk show where we discuss all things Magic the Gathering. And if you have questions, you better believe that myself and the community will have the answers. And also the second half of Coffee and MTG, we do deck list reviews. So if you ever wanted to get some feedback on your deck list, how to take it to another level, find out what the win condition should properly be, and how to beat your worst matchups, you can submit it and you can be chosen at random to get that feedback, both from myself and the community. So step one, brew up a cup of coffee, and then step two, let's brew up the magic wherever you are in the world. It is always a great time for Coffee and MTG. Good morning, Reality. You're first today. There's a war for who's going to be here first. So let me edit the stream info so more people can find us. Magic. And let's talk some Magic today. Hope everyone's doing very well. I'm doing great. My sleep is getting better. Sleep is doing better. Exercise is doing better. More energy than ever. I don't have to depend on the coffee nearly as much as I usually do. Good morning, Siege Sensei. And I'm battling in my mind how to build Merfolk right now. I'm battling in my mind, as I wait for everyone to show up. I feel like I need the master recently to help me against like mono red prowess decks. Mono red, blue red, among other decks. Is this too narrow? Am I in a spot where I should just give up the prowess matchup? There's still a huge chunk of prowess decks. Not to mention Death Shadow, and even against Death Shadow, I think Master of Waves is very appropriate. But damn it, when I'm jamming these leagues, I'm not seeing these decks as nearly as often as I thought I would. And I'm starting to think I should just take the L against these archetypes and try to beat everything else, but I'm not sure yet. I'm still thinking. Master Waves is not too bad right now, especially since we don't have so many walking ballistas in the format as we used to, like a lot less walking ballistas. With the lack of Tron and Eldrazi Tron sort of gives the clear, paves the way to play Master of Waves right now. Although maybe Plague Engineer is coming back as well. I thought Plague Engineer was gone. Maybe it's going to come back. Human still plays Plague Engineer, of course, amongst Death Shadow and the other archetypes. But anyway, those have been my thoughts going in my head, how to build the Merfolk deck. Because it's a little exciting. Like if you've been following me, I think Spreading Seas is dead. Well, maybe dead is not the right word. And I can't tell if Spreading Seas is just not well positioned right now, or it's actually going in the way of Curse Catcher and is just going to become obsolete soon. There are so many answers to Spreading Seas, or there are enough decks. If a deck is mana efficient enough, I never thought about that. Curse Catcher and Spreading Seas had something in common, where if a deck had instants and sorceries that were clunky, Curse Catcher was in really good shape and was able to counter things. It was a Merfolk, 1-mana Merfolk. You can sacrifice it and counter target instant or sorcerer unless your opponent pays 1. Spreading Seas is actually very similar in that regard, where you play it and it will hurt your opponent's mana from casting their clunkier spells. They're more greedier spells. And I think like the only thing that I can guarantee, the only time I really feel good about playing Seas is when I'm trying to cut off a lightning skelemental, because it requires so much. It's so mana intensive, a black, a red. So I mean, if you just play Spreading Seas on turn 2 or turn 3, your opponent can't play lightning skelemental next turn. But the format gets more mana efficient, and that's why Curse Catcher became useless. It's just more and more mana efficient. Like if I play this against Death Shadow or Mono Red Prowess, they'll be like, okay, I just have a colorless land, but not a really big deal because all my spells basically cost 1 mana anyway. And if they cost 2, there's always a generic cost in the mana. Why are things not black anymore? Like, let's look at Scourge of the Skyclaves. Is it really necessary that it's a black and a generic? I feel like the more powerful a card, the more mana intensive the card should be, right? Like, does that make sense to anybody? this definitely should be at least a black spell at the very, very least. But we are seeing like ridiculously powerful cards now that it's always like 1 green and like 4 generic, or 2 green, 3 generic. Like, we got to bring out like the G spells. If anything, Uro and Oko should have been double blue and a green, or double green and a blue, in my opinion. Anyway, so all those things considered, Spring Season is just getting worse. But here's the good news. Here's the good news. If we're not playing with Spreading Seas, that opens up 4 slots in our deck. We can put whatever the hell we want. 4 slots, 4 free slots. So anyway, that's the good news to taking out Spreading Seas. Maybe I should just have something like Force. Maybe I'm overreacting, and I should just replace Spreading Seas with like Force and Negation and call it a day. And just call it a day. Lord Magicus hasn't liked Seas in a while. Good morning, Ancorian Hero. Hola, Lord Magicus. Morning, Kyoka 620. Or should we at least be well, if it was 3 CMC, this card wouldn't see play. I don't mind it being 2 mana, but still it should be black. If you have like a mountain, if someone plays a Blood Moon against you, it actually is difficult to cast this card, for example. More mana-intensive cost would be interesting, since going 4 to 5 colors isn't a big deal since they splash so easily. Exactly. Like, playing a 5-color deck is like nothing today. It's like nothing. And because a card's designed like this, it's funny. When it comes to blue cards, they have no problem making everything blue. Like Archmage's Charm. Archmage's Charm is triple blue. Tempest, Jin. No problem. Let's make those things triple blue. Oh, but if it's like a really good black spell, if it's a really good like green spell, what is that thing called? I mean, let's look even like at Thragtusk, for example. 1 green, 4 generic for a 5/3 creature, gains life and leaves a creature on the battlefield after it dies. Let's be serious. I mean, this should be like triple green, 2 generic. And this card actually got splashed in so many decks. Like, the mana cost is just wrong. It's just wrong. I don't know. I don't know how much Limited has an influence on the design of these cards, because of course Limited would make like a card like this way worse, but more fair and constructed, in my opinion. Siege Sensei, I agree with you. More devotion and mana cost, please. At least Uros actually play. Oh yeah, that's true. You got to be double blue, double green. So that's not so easy. Those are interaction slots. Yeah, replacing Spreading Seas will maybe I'd probably Force Negation is just the safe bet. It's just that Force Negation sucks against like a lot of decks, like a lot of like Human Spirits, Death and Taxes type decks. Good morning, David. Most of the 5/0 lists on Goldfish are either moving Seas to board or cutting 2. Yeah, it's not doing very well. Good morning, everyone. Unless you play Plague Engineer, well, we're going to say hi to the Plague Engineer people. There's some Humans players out there. There's definitely some Humans players. So let me know your thoughts. What's going on in Modern? What's going on in Pioneer? Okay, hold on. Just something I'm curious about is Spirits in Modern. Let's go to MTG Goldfish. Dr. Queller, what are you doing, Dr. Queller? He's like the 2nd highest on the trophy leaderboard. Dr. Queller. Yeah, let me show you what I see. Okay, so I'm just looking for, here we go, Spirits. Actually, Spirits has now jumped to 2.1%, 2.1% of the metagame based on MTG Goldfish's standards. Spirit. So I'm just curious to know what a stock Spirits list look like. So this is, I don't know if this is a stock list yet, because there might be some debate whether it should be Bant or whether it should go blue-white. But I can totally see Bant coming back because of Skyclave Apparition. So we've got Mausoleum Wanderer, Noble Hierarch, Supreme Phantom, Oh, they're using Unsettled Mariner to good effect. Between Unsettled Mariner and Drogskull Captain, 3 Glasspool Mimic. That is actually interesting. You know, Unsettled Mariner by itself is pretty crappy, but Unsettled Mariner plus Glasspool Mimic actually might adequately tax your opponent. And also, Unsettled Mariner plus, where is it? Mausoleum Wanderer is a much better combo. Drogskull Captain, Glasspool Mimic, Skyclave Apparition, 4 Spell Queller. It's not that evasive, to be honest. How many flyers do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4 flyers. What has come of the Spirit stack? But 4 Collected Company, 4 Ether Vial. It's a very, very similar old list, but just upgrading a lot of the stuff, and they're just getting rid of the really niche nonsense. Well, I would say, like, you know, stuff like Rattle Chains and Selfless Spirit were really good cards. Okay, hold on. Let's look at some more lists. What is Dr. Queller doing? Which is actually a great name to be called Dr. Queller, I'm sure. There we go, Dr. Queller. We should have a Dr. Atlantis somewhere in here. Where's Dr. Atlantis? He's going with just blue-white. Says, you know what? Screw everybody and their, like, bent nonsense. That's not spirits. I want to go Azorius. So we have Mausoleum Wanderer, Spectral Sailor, Rattle Chain, Selfless Spirit, Shacklegeist, Supreme Phantom, Drogskull Captain, 4 Skyclave Apparition, 4 Spell Queller, 3 Path to Exile, 22 lands. You know, if there's something maybe we could learn. Well, how? Okay, hold on. 22 lands plus. Oh, this list is not running Glasspool Mimic. I thought this deck would be running Glasspool Mimic. So 22 lands in addition to Ether Vial. We could learn something from the Spirits players. Like I said, like, Merfolk is like the only deck running 20 lands in their Vial deck. And it's clunky. It's just clunky as hell. It's so clunky. Maybe there's something we can learn from them so that we curve out properly and keep more starting hands. I don't know. So 3 Cavernous Souls, 4 Flooded Strand, 2 Hollowed Fountain, 2 Horizon Canopy, 2 Mutavaults, 4 Seachrome Coast, 2 Snow-Covered Island, 2 Snow-Covered Plains, and a Windswept Heath. 3 Path to Exile in the main. And what do we go on the sideboard? 1 Path, 1 Relic, 2 Purge, exile target black or red permanent. You know, that's a pretty big upside, actually, to having access to white. You have cards like this that deal with Death Shadow, that deal with the prowess creatures. Is too weak? I don't think Coco is too weak, but it didn't have a good reason to be played for quite a while, and now I think Coco actually has quite a bit of a reason. I'll just say, like, Coco is a good card, but in all the other prior builds, they didn't have the right list. Yeah, this deck is heavy on fetch lands. 4 Flooded Strand, 2 Hollow Fountain, 2 Horizon Canopy. This is a row. No, actually, that's not that many fetch lands. We only have 5, and it's a 22 land deck. Damping Sphere, 2 Disdainful Stroke, 3 Core Firewalker, 3 of them. Very strong card. Shit, should I just splash for Core Firewalker? Is that the key to beating these prowess decks? Is that how we do it? It's not entirely exactly like an I win card. I mean, they can still play, like, they can still play what's called Blast Zone and Oblivion Stone, among other cards. Core Firewalker, 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Force Negation. I want to steal some stuff here. Maybe it's time for Path to Exile. I'm not super in love with the mana base, though. Like, I can totally imitate something like this. I just hate taking damage. Just use Auroch Champion? Maybe Auroch Champion. This is pro red. The other one, yeah. Well, this one's like a slightly better clock, though. I do respect that this has a clock attached to it. Whenever a player casts a red spell, you may gain 1 life. The other one is... Actually, yeah. Why exactly over Auroch Champion? What's the difference? Oh, I think it's a creature. It's not a spell. When protection, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may gain 1 life. You might actually gain a lot more life off of this against a burn slash prowess deck, because they're the ones casting their red spells and you gain life off of them. Because I really don't like Dismember right now. I don't like it. It's so painful. Can I splash white for just Path to Exile? I don't know. Interesting. No, how old is this list? Let's look at some other Spirits lists. What else is Spirits doing here? Are they mostly in the banned category? No, not necessarily. There's some other Azoria Spirits. What seems to be the consensus here? This is not too long ago. 4-color Spirits, you've lost your mind. Okay, it seems to be split 50-50. Although Dr. Queller seems to be the one getting most of the 5-0s. We have one other person. No, okay, so forget. No, there's 2 people. There's 2 other separate people specifically on blue-white. See what some of the comments say. Yo, Modern Spirits. I'll probably actually play one of these lists on maybe Friday. I'm gonna play zombies on Wednesday, and then I'll probably start up a stream. I might have a stream on Friday, and I'll play some Spirits in the spirit of Halloween. Pioneer has a problem with Teferi. There are too many Yori and Teferi decks using it as a combo protection. That is the point of Teferi. Good morning, John Decide. Mikey Chase. No, fuck the Plague Engineer people. You fuck you greedy Plague Engineer people. What an evil card. Actually, that also might determine why Bant Spirits went Bant Spirits. So, hold on, how many? If we look at, let's look at one of these lists. These lists by Dr. Queller. Oh, hold on, this one had Glasspool Mimic. Is this the latest list? I'm guessing this is not the latest list, or did I just miss it? No, I guess there was no Shacklegeist or these other niche cards, and then they just got rid of Glasspool Mimic. Okay, what about this other person, Danny M. Rebel? 3 Giver of Runes. It's not bad, honestly. If your mana base can afford to play Giver of Runes very early, it's not bad. But that you still don't have the like spirit synergy there. Rattle Chain, Selfless Spirit, Shackle Guy, Supreme Phantom, Drogsoil Captain, Skyclave Apparition, 4 Spell Queller, 2 Path to Exiles. Not in love with Path to Exile. Honestly, I don't love giving any of my opponents lands, but I also don't like taking 4 damage to the face at the moment. Nikachu, is green the best color in Magic, barring broken vintage blue cards? Yes. Green continues to be the best color in Magic. They've given green everything. Everything that other colors did, green is now doing. The only thing that green doesn't do yet is like deal damage to opponents. Queller plays both versions. I only see some 5-0s with blue-white. 2% of modern Magic the Gathering Online Pioneer is almost half a person. Huh? I don't understand that one. Teferi into Luca into Agent of Treachery, or Teferi into Bring to Light, Niv to Light. Oh, there's Niv to Light in Pioneer. Must be just as frustrating as the modern version. He plays both Azorius and Bant. Well, where is his Bant list? I don't see his Bant list. Or he hasn't gotten any 5-0s lately with the Bant list. Let's look at, maybe there's a Dr. Queller with a 5-0. Oh, here we go. We got something. Pivoting here left and right. Okay, so we've got Mausoleum Wanderer, Noble Hierarch, Rattle Chain, Selfless Spirit, Supreme Phantom, Drog Skull Captain, 2 Glasspool Mimic in this list. 4 Skyclave Apparition. So is it fair to say maybe Glasspool Mimic is in the... Oh, only 20 lands? Okay, so the Spirits community is like, you know what? We're only going to have 22 lands, and then that's it. Glasspool Mimic counts as a land. Skyclave Apparition, 4 Spell Queller, 3 Collected Company. Not to go overboard. And, of course, the lovely Bant mana base, 2 Path Exile, Relic. Interesting that they're so low on Relic when this deck could use it. and I find Relic is an amazing card in these lists. Like in basically a tribal deck that does not care about their graveyard. I've been very happy with 4 Relic in my sideboard, and also like Canister won a Modern Challenge almost purely because he put 4 Relic in his sideboard. 1 Collector Oof, Damping Sphere, 2 Core Firewalker. These Core Firewalkers. But if I go blue-white Merfolk, then I can't utilize Commander Speaker. Maybe it's not as big of a sacrifice as I think it is. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. All right, whatever. I guess Rest in Peace is just better than Relic. Unified Will, Aven Mind Sensor, 2 Force Negation. If an opponent would search their library, that player searches the top 4 cards of their library instead. Hayashi switched his Horizon lands into Cycle lands just for less damage. It matters. Like, it just matters. Don't forget Bee Sting? I don't know what that is. You mean, is that a user? Exclamation point Bee Sting? What the hell? Oh, there's an actual card called Bee Sting. Sorcery. Bee Sting deals 2 damage to any target. Oh, I get it. In that is in response to green does everything except deal damage. Well, yeah, we have some there's random cards out there that will deal damage. Blue also deals damage with Psionic Blast. And deals a lot of damage too. 3 mana, instant speed, deal 4 damage. That actually kills a lot of stuff in the format. It's pretty unbelievable. 22 lands in full Noble Hierarch. Yes, that's true. Wizards of the Coast R&D Stooge. What if we made a bolt that dealt 4 damage, dealt 4 and cost G instead of red? Head of R&D, brilliant adaptation of the color pie printed out. What is it's called Bee Sting? Oh, this is an old card. This makes some sense to me. Bee Sting deals 2 damage to any one creature or player. Somehow I feel like it should deal 2 damage to all creatures or something like that. That's a horde of bees. I guess Bee Sting is just 1 bee. The 2 damage to all creatures should be more. Actually, you know what? There's a lot of cards that where green deals damage. There's Hurricane. Hurricane deals X damage to each creature with flying in each player. So you can deal damage to your opponent. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's Hurricane, kinda. But only to the flying creatures. So maybe green can do everything. They literally do everything. I don't know how many other spells there are out there that deal damage. Maybe that could be a discussion point for today. Blue-White Merfolk does get... Well, we have Sig, but Sig sort of sucks. Sig River Guide. You have 2 mana for 2/2 built-in Island Walk. Oh, nice. But you have to actually pay 2 mana. Target Merfolk you control gains protection from the color of your choice until end of turn. So you have to sink mana into this thing for forever, basically. Hornet Sting? Is there such a card? Oh, this Hornet deals 1 damage to target creature or player. It is a very weak lightning bolt. We're very weak shock, if anything. I mean, green can just play Walking Ballista. Yeah, Walking Ballista is an honorable green card. Does green have a Thoughtseize? If not, it will soon. All right, everyone, does the green have a Thoughtseize? Someone find it. I'm sure someone out there knows. So is that a combo, Omnath and Hurricane? So what, we play Omnath, we gain life, and then we crack a fetch, get a bunch of mana, and then Hurricane the opponent? That sounds possible. Yeah, bad gut shot. It's or what's still the same? It's just a green gut shot. You just have to pay mana for it. We need to bring protection back and pro green, so they can't touch our stuff, or we can like endlessly block their creatures. It's a lava dart without flashback. That's right. Everyone's finding pretty good comparisons for Hornet Sting. When you play green and Merfolk, do the sideboard cards make a big difference? Sometimes. Sometimes you have access to Collector Roof, which, pending the metagame, might be really well positioned. Because activated abilities of artifacts can't be activated. Like, that's a very powerful effect, and the Grizzly Bear is still a worthwhile clock against like Tron or Eldrazi Tron or War Prison or some Urza deck or Affinity. It doesn't matter. Like, if the deck depends on activating the abilities of artifacts in their deck, Collector Roof just hoses them really well. If they don't have an answer to Collector Roof just shuts their deck down. So you do have access to Collector Roof, and that's about. I think you were just asking about the sideboard cards. So I mean, this is the only prominent sideboard card that would change how I play. Does green can counterspell? Yeah, Veil of Summer. Basically. I mean, maybe it's not technically. It's like, no, you can call it technically a counterspell. Or does it say that, yeah, he gets countered? If the target is no longer legal, it's countered. So here, Veil of Summer is basically the counterspell of green. Guttural Response as well. Oops. Guttural Response. Counter target blue instant spell. You know what's funny? They get this, and what does blue get? We get Flash Freeze. So green or red has access to this counter spell. Well, I guess it's narrow. Counter target blue instant spell. Whereas Flash Freeze can counter any spell. Okay, it's fair. It's more fair than I thought it was going to be. Display of Dominance. I guess today's conversation is based on like green gets to do everything. Choose one. Destroy target blue or black non-creature permanent. What the hell? And permanents you control can't be the target of blue or black spells your opponents control this turn. Destroy target. So it's like you have permanent removal for non-creatures, however. But it's also a counter spell. Avoid Fate. Counter target instant or aura spell that targets a permanent you control. Void Slime. This is more of a blue spell than a green spell. Counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. Bind. Counter target activated ability. Ooh, that's an old one. Let's look at Teferi's Response. This is like a hilarious card. I guess most people like get this. Okay, we could even use this in Modern. Counter target spell or ability an opponent controls that targets a land you control. If a permanent's ability is countered this way, destroy that permanent, and then you can draw 2 cards. So imagine your opponent trying to like Ghost Quarter you. No, I have a response. The Teferi's Response. Oh, you want to Field of Ruin me? I have a response. Teferi's Response. I mean, this would be an amazing counter all these stupid lands that we have in Modern. Now the point of this is Invasion. This came right after the Standard that used Rishadan Port, and Rishadan Port was basically like the best card in the format at the time. It was like the chase rare back in the days of Standard. It was just, pay 1, tap target land. So if you're ahead on mana, you're just like ahead for the rest of the game. So they printed in the very next block Teferi's Response. Teferi has a lot of responses in the modern day Magic, but this one is hilarious because it's so narrow looking. Like at the time, all it could read was destroy target Rishadan Port and F you. I'm going to draw 2 cards while we're at it. So, but this could see play. I don't know if it will see play in Modern, but it could see play in Modern. That targets a land you control. Is this anyway? Trying to see how this could interact versus Eldrazi Tron. They used to Tectonic Edge, but I don't think it would be too narrow. It'd definitely be good against any control deck using Field of Ruin. You want to target my Cavern of Souls? No. Teferi has a response. Teferi's response. Does it nuke Jite? Counter target spell or ability and opponent controls that targets a land you control. It has to target a land that I control. I feel that the legacy of blue as the strongest color makes it so that R&D really hoses blue and black to a lesser extent nowadays. Pushing green so hard above everything else, they should really stop. Honestly, I don't think legacy is the benchmark for how they're making the cards these days. Also, I don't even think blue is all that dominant in legacy. I mean, you still see death and taxes and elves. Maybe Oko is keeping it above in the bluer threshold, but there's a lot of non-blue decks in Legacy that are still doing very well. I mean, if they ban Oko tomorrow, probably there won't be nearly as much blue. Last few years that I've been playing Legacy, there's actually been a lot of non-blue decks, and I could feel it in Merfolk because I don't ever feel like I have Island Walk. Once you Zumazo's Jite's -1/-1 ability on an opponent's Mutavault, and they cast the Fairy's response. The judge had a good laugh when I called for it. Oh yeah, the response has been called. Teferi's response. It's like so out. Anyway, it's insane. Drawing 2 cards off of that is ridiculous. Teferi's response to protect your Mutavault. Sounds like I should be playing this card in my Merfolk deck. Delver wants to dare wasteland me? No, I have a response. Teferi's response. It killed the Jite, which made it... Is that how it works? If a permanent's ability is counted... Oh yeah, you do. It blows up the Jite. That's ridiculous. So if I do the same thing with what's our blue Merfolk? Tidal Warrior. I don't know why I'm doing this to a blue against a blue deck, but in theory, if I Tidal Warriored some land from an opposing blue deck, let's say I turn a I at my opponent's upkeep, turn their Mutavault into an island, they could, in response, go to Fairy's response. Legacy is a Delver metagame at a competitive level. When I was playing Leagues, it wasn't nearly as much Delver. I mean, you see Eldrazi, you see Mono Red Prison. But at a competitive level, there's a lot of Delver. Yeah, that is funny. It will kill the Jite if a permanent. I didn't even look at it like that. If a permanent's ability is countered this way, oh yeah, because Richard Import never sacrificed itself. It just tapped. So this is worded in such a way that it blows up the permanent. Oh, I didn't mean Legacy, the format. I meant the Legacy. Oh, Legacy of blue as a color. But I'm not. You know what? I would still disagree, David. People have been calling green strong for 10 years now. Like green and black is. I think green and black has just taken out. I think what ended up happening is up until maybe 2010, Wizards realized that blue was just OP for an incredibly long time. They decided, okay, let's make some other parts of the color pie really, really strong. And they never really got around to white, and they might be getting around to like red right now, as we're seeing some like really busted red cards start coming out. But they gave so much to black and green over especially the last decade or so, especially over the last 15 years. Honestly, I don't even think blue is all that strong. It's just all centered around a few cards. Like the most busted blue cards are just like the most busted parts of blue are just like centered around just a few really unbalanced cards, and the rest of blue is a bunch of crap. Like counterspells are not good anymore. I've also used it to blow up Maze of Ith and Infect. That's pretty cool. So, like, should I be playing this in my Legacy Merfolk list against, like, Maze of Ith from the lands deck? Should I be... This is how I should respond to lands? Yeah, Time Walk and Ancestral Visions will never be toppled. But that should not be the bar for, like, blue. Like, that was just some random poor design, like, design of the time period. Put in your EDH deck for sure. Yeah, someone's going to respond to me. You know what? That's right. How much does Teferi's response cost? It's like nothing. It costs like... Look, can anyone see? It's 96 cents. 96 cents down here. Get your Teferi's responses. Respond to all this garbage happening in the metagame. Was it ever printed in any other sets? View all prints. This is it. It also showed up in a World Championship deck. Now that I didn't know. By several people. Several people played Teferi's response. They had to respond to Rishadan Port. Yeah, we're doing deck reviews. We're doing okay. We're getting excited for deck reviews. Let's go do some deck reviews. So, if you want to submit your deck list to get reviewed, go ! Deck review space. Give the URL to your deck list, and also please leave any comments. Let me know the format. Let me know if you're on a budget. That would really help. I might not suggest really expensive cards when you're clearly building a $50 deck, and also it would help me what you're trying to build it for. Is there a particular matchup that you need to shore up? Is you need help with your sideboard for the current metagame? So give us that information, and both myself and the community will help you out. And as we wait for all these deck lists, we're going to thank our sponsors, starting with themanabase.com, your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And of course, the Manabase is also sponsored by Fusion Gaming Online, my favorite local game store. Fusion Gaming Online has a deal the week every week, and the one this week is save 15% off all Zendikar Rising singles and sealed product. So if you're looking for a deal on any Zendikar Rising singles, go check them out at fusiongamingonline.com. Remember, this is a Canadian site, and all prices are in Canadian dollars. And we're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online, and probably the best outlet for testing out your brews and your new deck list without actually having to commit real money to them. So if you want to be able to borrow that sort of deck and also innovate and adjust and change with all the cards that you need, you're going to want to check out Mana Traders. And you can support the channel by using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or you can save yourself 15% off your first 3 months if you use my coupon code Nikachu. All right, so let's review some decks. Hot Chocolate is excited. And it's Hot Chocolate's deck list that's been chosen. He knew it was happening. It was called Useless. Well, that's not very... That's, confidence is the key, in my opinion. Oh! I get really excited when I see this card, when I see Donate. Donate, believe it or not, is on the reserve list, and it's not so cheap anymore. It was like $4 like not too long ago. I guess the big, how can I put it, the huge investment in Magic cards got Donate's attention, or someone got the attention to Donate, and anyway, it's not so cheap anymore. It used to be cheaper. So, okay, so let's look at this list. We have, obviously, it's some sort of list about donating something. Balduvian Shaman. Oh, I can't read this. We gotta give me like a real text here. Oh, we have no explanation. Okay. Permanently change the text of target white enchantment you control that does not have cumulative upkeep by replacing all instances of one color word with another. Okay, fuck this. This is stupid. I'm just going to look up the Oracle text of this. Balduvian Shaman. That is written in such old language. Okay, here we go. Modern templating, people. It matters. Change the text of target white enchantment you control that doesn't have cumulative upkeep by replacing all instances of one color with another. Cumulative upkeep of 1. So you play it for 1, you can pay 1 at your upkeep, and then you can tap and you can change. So on a white enchantment of yours, you can change the color of what it says. Okay. Camel. Bans. All creatures attacking in a band with Camel are immune to damage by deserts. Wood Elemental. Is the lower right-hand corner... What? Are set to the... Oh, no, it doesn't matter. Okay, so it's just a 4-mana... Okay, I need to look up Wood Element. Is this like all cards I have to look up? As Wood Elemental enters the battlefield, sacrifice any number of untapped forests. Wood Elemental's power and toughness are each equal to the number of forests sacrificed as it entered the battlefield. Okay. Zephyr's Spirit. When Zephyr's Spirit blocks, return it to its owner's hand. Mishra's War Machine, again banding. During your upkeep, choose and discard. Is this like a 93-94 deck or something? Deals 3 damage to you. If Mishra's War Machine deals damage to you in this way, tap it. And Scornful... Out of all these really old cards, we now have a slightly modern card, Scornful Egotist with Morph. So one... Is this literally just crap? It's just a bunch of crap. Discard your hand, bargain. Your opponent draws a card, and you gain 4 life and donate. Hold on. What are our enchantments? Fasting. You may choose to skip your draw phase. If you do so, you gain 2 life. If you draw a card for any reason, fasting is destroyed. During your upkeep, put a hunger counter on fasting. When fasting has 5 hunger counters on it, destroy it. We don't even have anything to use this Bolduvian Shaman on at this point. Just create a deck with all cards that had Oracle text change and cleaned up to troll. Yeah, win condition. Opponent concedes out of pity. It is it is written in the language of the ancients. Everything is just all the cards in here have just like really bad wording for the most part. One with is this literally okay? If you have a deck that does nothing. This is a 1/1 creature. At least it can do something. You shouldn't have Dark Steel. You're I now understand this deck. It is useless. The format is Legacy. But we're missing like Dark Steel Puck, I think. Shit, did I spell Puck wrong? Did I write it wrong? What is there's some indestructible like 0 mana artifact. What is it? Deck review command is here. I can help you out with that. It's ! Deck review. Here, I can leave it on the screen. And then you get put in the Yavimaya Ancients. Darksteel Relic. Yeah, I think this deck is missing this. Darksteel Relic is indestructible. Okay, what else is this deck missing? This deck is trying to do nothing. Well, it's not doing... It at least has, like, somewhat of a win condition here. Is there enough forests in this deck? You have 6 forests. Snow... What is... Okay, we didn't even read Snowfall. I'm not even going to read it from there. What does Snowfall do? Whenever an island is tapped for mana, its controller may add an additional blue. If that island is snow, its controller may add an additional blue. Spend this mana only to pay cumulative upkeep costs. Oh, well, that sucks. But at least you can pay the upkeep costs to all these jank cards that you have in this deck. You may cast 1 spell this turn. Is there any way you can win with this deck, Hot Chocolate? Is there something I'm missing? Are there yeah, is there any notes here I can read? There are no notes. Sometimes the deck looks like complete shit, but there's actually like some reasoning to it. Darksteel Relic. I use one as my Black Lotus proxy. You think that's bad? Check out. Wait, well, everyone knows Chains of Mephistopheles, but a lot of people don't know like Snowfall or okay, what was a bad one? Bolduvian Shaman. Like I didn't know because no one plays this card. At least Chains of Mephistopheles saw some play in Legacy. I asked, how do you win with this deck? And the creator of the deck said, attacking with Wood Elemental, maybe question mark. Maybe question mark. We don't even know how to win with this deck yet. Anyway, the only upgrade I can think for this list is to play Darksteel Relic somewhere and then donate it to your opponent. Just give it to them. Darksteel Relic is good. It's an essential part of my Johora Cheerio Storm EDH deck. Is the Legacy version of Restore Balance kind of doable on a budget? Probably. There's 6 forests in this deck. So good old whole 6 of them. Upgrade is to replace all the cards with basic lands. Or snow lands. You need snow lands to make use of Snowfall. Well, I mean, a legacy version of Restore Balance. I don't know. I don't know how well it interacts with the format because these Restore Balance decks depend on things resolving, and there's a lot of free counter spells in Legacy. There actually is quite a bit. So I mean, I can't say for sure that there would be you can get a 50% win rate in Legacy. I mean, you can play it for sure. Almost anything has 40%, but I can't be sure about 50% because I've never play tested anything like that in Legacy. I mean, if you had access to some of the expensive cards like Force of Will, I could say yes, but I can't say for sure without it. Okay, so let's look at moving on. Thank you very much, Hot Chocolate, for submitting your very flavorful deck. I got excited when I really got excited when I saw the I got really excited when I saw the donate. I thought we were going to be seeing a sweet donate list. It was a sweet list, I guess. Okay, so Matt C03's deck list has been chosen. Modern control budget. Awesome. I guess I'll keep the command on the bottom just in case people need to use it. So we have Wall of Omens, Geist of St. Traft, Skyclave Apparition, 3 Restoration Angels. I can't be certain. Okay, maybe I should go through the list, but my instinct is that you should have more Restoration Angels in this list, especially, and more Wall of Omens. I think Wall of Omens is relatively well positioned right now to slow down potentially prowess creatures and also to blink it with Restoration Angel. Geist of St. Traft I don't know about. Maybe. Skyclave Apparition is good. Narset part of Veils, Teferi Time Raveler. What part of budget is this? It looks like you have some money. Teferi Hero of Dominaria, 1 Oust, 4 Path to Exile, 1 Secure the Waste, 2 Spell Snare, 1 Deprive, Dovin's Charm. Salundi Vision. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant or sorcery card among them and put into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay. And it also can play. You can also play it as a land. Timely Reinforcements, Cryptic Command, Supreme Verdict. Spreading Seas, Castle Ardenvale, Field of Ruins, 7 Island, Mystic Sanctuary, Plains. Does this thing come to play tapped? Can't remember what the other side is. Yeah, it comes into play tapped. I'm not super certain, but maybe you want this Salundi Vision because you're not playing with fetch lands, right? So I think the best thing that you can do for this list is just to play more Mystic Sanctuary. So instead of actually, because in most control decks, every fetch land represents a Mystic Sanctuary, and this card comes into play tapped anyway, you probably want this to be, you're probably going to be sinking your mana every single turn, so it's going to be really hard for you to get this Salundi Vision off. You might as well just play it as number 3 and 4 of Mystic Sanctuary if you're on a budget. Ceremonious Rejection, Ether Gust, 2 Celestial Purge, Dovin's Veto, Core Firewalker, 2 Ashiok Dreamrender. You're not that budget, to be honest. I mean, your sideboard is a little bit budget. You're running 4 Spreading Seas, okay. You know what? I think I would have one more sweeper in this list somewhere. Like 1 more Supreme Verdict. Just because there's a decent chunk of creature decks out there, you know, between I know humans is a bit difficult to beat, but between humans and Death and Taxes Spirits, even the Prowess decks, putting a bunch of creatures on the battlefield, you might want to have access to another one more sweeper. You have literally like 1 sweeper in the deck. I mean, you have Cataclysmic Gearhulk, I guess, but you might want 1 more sweeper in here, but I don't know exactly what to take out. Core Firewalker is a pretty good card. I'm not sold on the Geist. Now, if I were to tell you to put in another Restoration Angel and another Wall of Omens, I have to sort of tell you what to take out. I don't know what that is right now. maybe a Secure the Wastes, or maybe a Deprive. Deprive is a pretty clunky card. Usually, like, most control decks don't play Deprive because it just slows you down usually. Like, you don't get to curve into, like, your Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. You don't get to curve into your Cryptic Commands. You don't get to curve into your Supreme Verdict. Like, you should know that the deck is relatively clunky, and Deprive looks good with Mystic Sanctuary, right? But the fact of the matter is, most of the time, this is just a niche interaction. Most of the time, you just would like a regular counterspell, like a third Mana Leak or something. So, or maybe replace a Deprive with your Restoration Angel. Because I think Restoration Angel and Wall of Omens are like a pretty good combo. Even Restoration Angel and Skyclave Apparition is actually a pretty good combo, so I don't mind that. I mean, I see why you wouldn't want to have too many Supreme Verdicts, because you're a little bit more on the creature plan here. But it's still a really good catch-all card. You like Secure? Okay, you can keep the Secure. But anyway, I would just suggest replacing the Slundi Visions with more Mystic Sanctuaries, because it's blue mana anyway. They're still lands. The new Cancel that cycles, but is it for 2 mana? Because we already... That's the thing about control. Like, we have a lot of things to do at 3 mana and higher. We have Archmage's Charm. We have Cryptic Command. We have Supreme Verdict. Actually, we don't have that many things at 3 mana at the moment. Oh yeah, we have Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. We have Narset. Problem is the earlier turns of the game. So we have some paths. We have Oust, Spell Snare, but we still need, like, like Mana Leaks and stuff like that. Can you Teferi your own creatures? Absolutely, you can. Teferi says return up to 1 target artifact, creature, or enchantment to its owner's hand, draw a card. So you can bounce your Wall of Omens to get extra card draw. You can bounce your Restoration Angel to eventually, like, blink Wall of Omens. You can bounce your Skyclave Apparition and then replay it for something else. You absolutely can do that. Censor's like, well, I mean, Censor's like okay, I guess, as a budget, but I don't think it's necessary. I would just rather run another Dovin's Veto, or maybe another Mana Leak in the main. Or, like I said, I think you should just have more of these creatures. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think I like Restoration Angel and Wall of Omens. Wow, look at Geist of St. Trapp, $2. Geist, have you fallen? That used to be like a $25 or $30 card. Just doesn't see any love anymore. And the problem is, it's just hard to attack with, because there'll be always something to block it. Like today, there's like millions of blockers. Geist of St. In a metagame where it's like heavy on control or Jund or some crap like that. This is a budget list, so we're on a budget. I'm assuming the creator spent whatever money they wanted on this list, and now the upgrades have to be on a budget. I mean, maybe a budget card here is, what is that called? Mission Briefing. But it's totally different from Snapcaster Mage, because it doesn't put a body on the battlefield. It's just not the same. So I guess just don't play without it. Just get your card. Okay, if you're not playing with Snapcaster Mage, you can get your card advantage out of Wall of Omens and Restoration Angel. That's how I would look at it. And then you Restoration Angel and blink things like Skyclave Apparition, and blink things like Wall of Omens. Like, that's where I think the card advantage comes in this deck. So really, that's interesting. Yeah. So we'll just say no to briefing. But that's my feedback here. And I don't know how much it matters to you, but like as a Merfolk player, I'm not high on Spreading Seas. Just Tron is going down, so maybe there's some room for you putting a couple of copies of this in the side. No, a couple copies of this in the sideboard, and leaving maybe a few in the main. But hold on, it's only exiles creatures. I can't really say so much, because you can still use this to slow down a lot of decks for the purposes of a control deck. So this is fine. I would just say add more Mystic Sanctuaries, because you don't have the fetch lands, and that's it. Oh yeah, and up the Wall of Omens and Restoration Angels. And good luck. I hope that feedback is useful for you, and good luck with the control deck in Modern. Yeah, probably it's a way of beating the man. Oh yeah, this deck is not running any Field of Dead. Well, let me look at this list. Or sorry, not Field of Dead, Field of Ruin. No, it was running Field of Ruin. It was. Sorry. First, I was thinking if it was running Field of Ruin or not. There, it's there. It's there. It's doing good. Great. Nice list. Thanks for sharing. Moving on. No more decks in the queue. Is that true? There's nothing left. There's nothing left. Oh, Willie Hall. I'm watching on a treadmill. Can I have a shout out? Big fan. Big fan. Willie Hall's here. I'm watching on a treadmill. Can I have a shout out? You have a treadmill at home? You watch at home? Is this what you do? You watch Twitch streams while you work out? That's next level. I just listen to music when I work out. Who knew you can like watch aspiring Spike blow up his own lands with what's it called? Cleansing Wildfire while getting some exercise in. But anyway, we'll finish it off with giving a shout out to Willie Hall, because that's going to be it for today. What is going on here? Where's my band? There we go. Get rid of this. So thank you very much, everyone, for being here. We're going to raid someone. Who are we raiding today? I can never see any. Oh, D Canadian Bacon just subscribed for 5 months in a row. Thank you very much, D Canadian Bacon. Also, thanks to Jimanon, who also subscribed with Prime the other day. I don't know if I didn't see it or if it was off stream. Canadian Bacon says, I'm late, but good morning anyways. Good morning also to yourself. I'm having a great morning. So who are we raiding today? I'm gonna raid somebody. Be you, Willie Hall, but you're exercising right now. Let's raid Harry MTG. I love Harry. We're gonna raid Harry. He's playing Legacy today, though. So I hope you love your Legacy. Wonder if he's running the useless deck that we reviewed today. Dark Steel Puck and all. I think the next Mana Trader Series event is Legacy. So I might be playing some Legacy soon because of the Mana Traders event. So anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for showing up today. We had a great conversation. We've realized, what was the theme today? It was like green has everything available to them and something else. I don't know what the title of this one's going to be, but whatever. It's going to be a good one. So thank you very much, everyone, for showing up, and I will see you at the next cup. Take care and see you next time.